So let's create a new folder for our alerts. So this will be basically number 5. So project number 5. I'm going to call this alerts. And let's create within here new file alert app.jsx rfc. Whoa, rf. Wait, what did I do wrong? rfc. There we go. Again, this is just going to be a container. So class name and container, and that's it. Now within here, we're going to bring in our alert. So let me first bring this alert app into app.js. Let's go down here, open alert, and they should bring in alert up there. Let's close it up, and we should now have our alert. Obviously, there's nothing in there. Let's do in alert. Let's hit save. So just that we have something in there. Okay, so we have our alert. Let's also add margin auto to this. Margin auto. Let me just quickly check something in our CSS. So m auto, margin auto, but I like to have margin auto. Let me copy this on the x-axis only. So mx, and this will be auto on the x-axis and 0 left and right. So if I go here, margin x auto, that's much better. Okay, next up, we're going to create a alert component in our components. So components, alert, the capital A, alert, JSX, RFC, alert, and let's also bring it in here as, let's just go down, bit of indentation, and let's bring in alert from components alert, close it up, and instead of having here alert, I'm going to pass it in here as alert. Okay, there we go. We have our alert component. Next, in our component, I'm going to bring in useState. So within curly brackets, useState and useEffect. So state will change and update the state, and effect will load on the start of the application. Okay, first things first. Let's grab onto our alert. Let's go before the return, and let's create a const show alert and set show alert. Okay, I'm going to set this to useState. Now the state will be set to true because I want to be able to activate or deactivate this later on using our set show alert. Now in the return bracket, we're going to return, first of all, this is going to be within parentheses, we're going to return show alert, and if there is a show alert, then we're going to return a div. So basically open and close div. Is going to have a class name of, and these are actually the classes that are in your CSS. So it's going to have a class of alert, the main class, and I'm going to set this within backticks. Let's also close up that so we have more space. So alert will be the main class. Then we're going to have alert and then dash, and whatever will be passed in here as a variable, basically the type, which is going to be passed up here as a prop. So I'm just going to copy this and send it up here as a prop. So we can always see that we have the alert. Now it just needs to have some kind of style. And the first, let's type in here alert and type, and let's say success. And there should be actually quotations. So this is going to be a type of success alert. Hit save, and going to see it's going to be green. I'm not colorblind. Relax. Okay, next up. Within the div, we're going to pass in the option to close the alert. So I'm going to create another div. So actually go with a class of alert dash close, and within here we're going to have two things. First of all, we're going to have the message, and then we're going to have a closing button. So for the message, I'm going to use a span tag, span with a class of margin right 1, and I'm going to pass in here the message as a prop. It's message, and up here we can pass it then in message, and whatever we set, message, and whatever we set the message to will be then shown. So message, let's say for example, let's type in successful login. Okay, this is the message, and now we need a closing button. So let's go back to our alert component, and after the span tag, I'm going to bring in the button component. So button, hey, what are you doing? Button, and let's also bring in the button component. So import button, and I'm going to import it from dot and / and button, because we are already in components, don't forget that. Okay, so there's our button, just a second, but this button is not going to be a click, it's going to be a, let's change this class, and I'm going to set, no class, btn class, btn. I'm going to set this to btn close. Okay, now you just saw that disappear, and instead of the text, we're going to type in a simple X for the text, and then on click, we're going to set this to close alert, because we want to be able, when we're clicking this button, you can see already if I hover, it's going to be red. This is because of the btn close class, and we're going to set this to close alert. Now the close alert will be a function that we're going to create up here. So let's go up here and say const and close alert. We're going to set this to a callback function, and e.target.parent element and .parent element again, because we want to go out of this button and select the entire thing. So I'm going to copy the parent element, set it here again, and then class list. And I'm going to select from the class list to add the class of fade alert. Now this will only add the class to it. So I'm going to show you what it's going to do. It's going to do that fade animation, but it's not going to remove it. So what we need to do now is we're going to use a set timeout function, and after a specific time, let's say after 3 seconds or 0.3 seconds, we're also going to show alert or set show alert. We're going to set this to false, and you know what's going to happen when this is set to false. It's going to change the state of the alert. So let's try this. If I click on this, it's going to make my alert disappear. You know what? I could also increase this to 5. Boom. There we go. Let me just quickly check at which speed the fade alert class is set. So I'm going to go into my CSS, fade alert, and it's set to 0.5. So this is why I'm going to leave it at 5 or even 4, because if I would come back here, hit refresh, close the alert again, it's going to have the same animation speed. Okay, so that's it for this part. Now next up, let's make it so the alert will close automatically after a specific time. So we're going to tackle that next on.